African.
Good evening. Welcome to the show. My name is Pratt. This is The Couch. It's a Thursday evening, and so today we are going to be having one of our hard talk conversations. This evening, I am excited, about the conversation we are having today for a lot of reasons. Hopefully, we will get into all of that as the conversation ensues. Now, I think a couple of weeks back, we had an editorial, about what's happening in the UK, all of the drama. Then I called it a political soap opera, that involved the resignation and now the appointment of a new British Prime Minister. Hopefully, we will have a program, a detailed conversation around that, and to look at all of the issues that come up pertaining to world politics and particularly African politics, as a fall of what happens at number 10 Downing Street. This evening, however, our conversation hits home right here in Ghana, and we are looking at the new patriotic party and its pre-presidential and parliamentary primaries that it's gearing up for. Any Ghanaian should be interested in what happens in the new patriotic party. It's very important for our national politics, is very important for our democracy. And so this evening, that is our conversation. A few things have, started brewing, and it calls for, an analytical sort of appreciation of, what the issues are, what the party says, what the national constitution says, what the party's constitution says, and its implications for you and for me. Welcome to She'll Be Right Back. Stay with us.
Whatever the occasion, with ATL, you can never be out of style. ATL, bringing fabric to life.
Welcome back to The Couch. My name is Pratt. This evening we are conversing about the NPP's internal election, what the national constitution says, what the party constitution says, and I have been privileged. I am privileged to have joining me in studio to have this conversation, lawyer Andrew Appiah-Danquah. Hello, sir. Welcome to the show.
Pleasure.
Pleasure all mine.
Yes,
Pleasure all mine. Also joining us in the studio is Bediako, Dannsa Appiah. Welcome, sir.
Fine, thank you. The world's finest.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's good to have you both here. Okay. So, let's do a little bit of house cleaning first of all, and then we get into the issues. As members of the NPP, are you excited about the upcoming elections? Are you excited about it? Like a euphoria around what's about to happen?
As in the 2024 national elections.
No. Let's start with the internal one.
Oh, yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes, I am. In fact, every presidential primaries gives us an opportunity to carve a new path, not just for our party, but for our country. Because ultimately, when you are making decisions as to who to present as your party's presidential candidate, you must have in mind what is in the best interest of the country. And so, and because of that, you have a duty to this country to bring somebody who is best, or who can help the country to achieve our dreams, our ambitions, who can maintain the kind of environment that would enable all of us to achieve our individual goals. And so for me, whenever such an opportunity comes, I think it should excite anybody, everybody, because really we are being given an opportunity to carve a new path for our country. Yes, and so I am excited. I'm also particularly excited because of Anawalan John Kuju Chemanton. And yes, and I am excited because once again, as a party, we are being presented the opportunity to give this great man an opportunity to advance his vision, his dream for the country. A vision, a dream that is about industrialization, that is about trade, that indeed can lead us to the economic emancipation we are looking at, we all seek. We mentioned transformation, and essentially that's about increasing productivity in both agriculture and also in industry. And I think Alan Chimate represents Ghana's best foot forward.
I see what you're doing there, lawyer. I see you. But we will come back to have the conversation about the individual candidates and their strengths and all of that. To come to you too, what's your general feeling about the upcoming internal election? And I'll give a little bit of preamble here. For some parties, it might be a cause of concern, right? I mean, if you ask me, I'll say perhaps for all parties, but sometimes it brings up, it's a time of washing dirty linen. It can present that too. So how do you feel?
What I would say is that NPP is a political party that believes in the principles of the rule of law, and by extension, we believe in democracy. You get it? So, when you look at the directives, principles of state policy, as enshrined in our constitution, it tells you about the formation of political parties under the directive principles of state policy. That is exactly what we've done. Coming from a political party, as an NPP being a political party, believing in the principles of the rule of law, where every 3 years or 4 years, depending on what, let's say, whether or not we are in power, then it gives us the mandate or what have you to select whoever should lead us, be the MP-ship or the presidential. So what I would say is that why we are enthused, everybody is very happy, because it's about time where, let's say, men, I would say the true men of the state would also be given the honor to, as in want of better words, to lead the political party as an MPP.
Okay, so none of you is concerned about, like I asked before, this being a time of, like happens always, washing your dirty linen in public. As a party, are you concerned about that?
You see, it depends on whatever the person has hidden or like has in his cupboard or something. There's this account thing that goes this way, like, oh yeah, Papa and Kawinim, that's what I'm saying. Kawinim or something. So if you have nothing to hide, because the point is, we want true leadership. We want people who would lead us. And take it from me, Amma, we will campaign in this very country. In fact, we will campaign. Because the point is, politics is not about a select few who are enjoying. Politics is about the good governance of every member of Ghana or whatever. Why do you think we have something known as this pyramid? The base, the grassroots. Many people goes for these elections. during national elections or parliamentary or presidential, what do we see on their flyers or on their billboards? Grassroots, grassroots, grassroots. Ask yourself. They know what I'm saying. And everybody that is watching knows what I'm saying. They'll go on this tangent. I'm a grassroots person. Grassroots, so you know.
All politicians say they are
No,
grassroots.
I'm coming.
I mean, even the Kenyan election, grassroots was such a topical word, wasn't it? Every politician says they are
These same
grassroots.
grassroots people, after voting them into power, look at what happened on the 17th day of July, 2022. I left there around 1 a.m. on the 18th day. And that same day, my mother was celebrating her birthday. I had to go there because you know women and their problems. You get it? Apologies
No, I don't know women and their problems. I'm sorry. I do not know women and their problems.
I left there around 1 a.m. All these delegates were just seated there as at 2 a.m. when the results were declared. And they call on you in your offices, and you have a secretary seated somewhere who tells you whether or not you have an appointment with the minister or the government appointed. In 2020, I was at Secretary Akontombra. Yes, I went there, even without the knowledge of the Alex, whatever, the MP.
So you're excited?
Oh, yeah, I'm excited because the point
so
is,
you're excited.
we will elect men and women of competence. That is what I'll tell you.
I'm happy to hear it.
Sure.
I'm very happy to hear that as Ghanaian. So let's get straight into our issue for concern today. And here, I want to reference a communique that was issued by the party sometime in July. Actually, no, on the 27th of July, 2021. I don't want to bore viewers with all the details of the it's not a long read, but let's just keep it tight. So essentially, what this communique is, I read it tight. It says NPP issues code of conduct for pre-presidential and parliamentary primaries ahead of the 2024 presidential and parliamentary primaries of the party. Now, this communique sought to spell out, behavior of officials, of members concerning the, in my mind, really, I'm thinking of, fair play, so that the contest is fair, so it's not acrimonious, if there's a word like that, I'm sure there is. That, right? But then as an outsider of the party, my first instinct is, doesn't the party have rules in black and white as to what to do and what not to do?
So I have as an honest issues with this code of conduct, because essentially what the code of conduct is saying is, so it says that whether you are a party official, you're a party member,
right,
you cannot campaign.
Right, that's exactly what it says.
Yeah.
Yes.
You cannot campaign for anybody wanting to be a presidential candidate or wanting to be a parliamentary candidate until they've officially opened nominations. My honest view is that, one, first of all, because nobody has put themselves up, because technically nobody has put, apart from Honorable Kennedy Japan, who is going around saying that he wants to be president, right, nobody has put himself up, right, that they don't want to be president. Right. And so then, because nobody has put themselves up, nobody can be deemed to be campaigning the proper meaning of the word campaigning. Right. You understand? Right. So essentially what this is trying to do is to prevent me, a party member, from having an opinion as to who I think is the best person to lead our party. That's my view.
So fundamentally, you have a problem with
the code of conduct. I think that's what the code of conduct is doing. What it seeks to do is to prevent party members from expressing their opinion as to who they think can best lead the party, and it's quite unfortunate. Right. Because you see, the reason they give, because every law is done to create to solve a problem. Right. Now, if you listen to the communication around this code of conduct, the problem they think they are solving is issues that happened, let's say, in 2008. They've mentioned 2008, they've mentioned 79, and so in 2008 or in 2007, after the NPP presidential elections, an impression is being given that because of the nature of the campaign run or how things were handled then, a lot of cracks happened in the party that they couldn't more or less exactly. And I disagree with that, because you see, in 2007 I was in law school final year. I remember I really followed the campaign, and I remember vividly the mood of the party when Anado was declared. In fact, when Alan John Kojo Chemanten graciously decided to step down from contesting Anado in the runoff, because if you recall,
yes, I remember that too.
And the mood was one of joy.
2007.
Yeah. It was one of joy, one of happiness.
Right.
In fact, I think the NPP came out of that election with their chest out and poised for the 2008 elections. So I don't think that election really caused any crack. Probably issues after the elections, you understand? Issues after that election caused the cracks that made us lose the 2008 elections. And I think we should be honest with ourselves. And we should be really honest with ourselves, have an introspection into what really happened after 2007 election.
So that's a conversation that we can have. That's lawyer. Can you not see the wisdom? And this, when you are answering, you can also tackle this question too. Can you not see the wisdom in saying that shelve your opinion until nominations are officially opened? I can see the wisdom there. So two ways. I think there are certain people, because of their positions in the party, without even a code of conduct, they must not have an opinion, as in share their opinions. Right. In this game, nobody is neutral. Nobody can be neutral. Absolutely.
Yes, as in the EC herself, the national EC, she votes.
Right.
You understand? So really, she is not neutral, but she must be seen to be neutral. Right. So certain people, because of the nature of the positions they are holding, like the president, like the party executives, you understand, they must be seen to be neutral. And so it won't be wise for them to share their opinion. But you see, I think what builds a party is the kind of conversations that is had at the base.
Open,
frank, honest opinion. Because at the end of the day, you want, as a party, to put your best foot forward. Because you are a party, but you are within a country, and your ultimate goal is to see the country develop. And that's why you are a party. I know people say that the most important job of a party is to win power, but I think beyond winning power, your ultimate duty is to ensure that this country is developed.
I dare say that should be your first concern.
For me, that's my first. Personally, I think the duty of a party is to ensure that the government, that the country is well developed. Well, they are a political party and they are different from the government. So because they're a political party, they want to, as a sponsor, somebody to win power, really. And so for the party, because the party isn't just made to go into elections, beyond the elections, because really elections won't be held until 2024. What should happen? But the party also gives us the platform to share opinion, and that's why it's democracy. And because it's democracy, what the political party also does is to give that platform for people to share their views. And so any rule, any law that seeks to gag that up, to prevent that, flies against
problematic.
And especially in our constitution, which seems to espouse a belief in the principle of freedom of conscience.
You mean the Ghanaian constitution?
And also in the NPP constitution.
Okay.
We have a policy. The policy talks about the principle of justice and all, but our constitution also espouses the principle of the belief, a firm belief in the freedom of conscience. Now, if you're a party that says that one of your cardinal principles is a belief in the freedom of conscience, then it shouldn't matter whether somebody has an opinion that differs from yours. Rather, you should create an environment that encourages that.
Right.
You understand? And so because of that, I disagree vehemently with this code of conduct to the extent that it seeks to prevent we, the ordinary party members, from sharing our opinion.
Right. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
That's an interesting perspective. Does the MPP have laid down procedure, conventions, rules concerning what this code of conduct or this communique seeks to address?
All right, Amma, you see, just to add to what my senior
I thought
said.
he had done it eloquently. We could move on.
Oh, yeah, that's... in fact, I would say I have nothing useful to add, but I just want to add something small. You see, with respect to the code of conduct, I would say, without any shadow of doubt, that it is skewed towards a particular agenda, and it's skewed towards a particular man's agenda. You see, nobody is bigger than the MPP. the likes of the Appiah-Danquah, the likes of Darucha, people sold their properties to get the party to what it is now. What do we see now? In the run-up to the NPP internal election, that is the National Delegates Conference, we had somebody at the presidency who happens to be the director of operations at the office of the president, Lord Comey, who proud to that during the I think the launching of John Boydu's campaign, went there, made so much unguarded statement. Adrinkesiye literally meaning big brains, and without John Boydu we are not going to win power. Without John Boydu we are not going to break the 8. John Boydu is no more.
Right.
These are some of the things that we tell them, the kind of things we say. But you see, it is something we are telling them. Nobody is going to be imposed on us. We will revolt. I'm telling you, there is not going to be any coronation where, like the NDCs did during the Sweden declaration, where
why don't you just focus on the NPP for today? Why don't we just focus on the NPP today?
See, because of your beauty, I'll stay on track.
Look at this one.
You see, so the whole thing is this.
Right.
Nobody's going to be imposed on us.
Right.
We will vote. Look at what the section 1F of the Code of Conduct indicate or state. It makes a statement to the effect that members of parliament or supporters or members of the parties are not to use via let's say whatever position they hold to bid or like as in support or like want of better word to literally meaning just to support one person's agenda at the expense of the other until nominations are open.
Yeah.
Is that what we are seeing now?
But and I've asked this question to both of you. Do you not see the home sense? You know, sometimes I like to put things aside and just look at common sense, home sense, things like that. There's an incumbent executive presently. Don't you think that there'll be an unfair advantage, especially to that, incumbent executive, if these rules and regulations are not laid in place? Because they have everything. They have government machinery at their disposal. They have, all your communication tools at their disposal. They have everything at their disposal.
That is what has been done. But at the end of the day, ask yourself as to whether or not those executives do, or what this question you seek to ask, or like, let's say, seek to prevent is for unfair advantage geared towards the executive. Is that not the question that
right,
you ask?
that's what
But ask yourself, if these things were not to be there, or even as we speak now, they are doing even worse.
They still do have an unfair advantage. Okay.
It's so worst.
Okay.
For me, the home sense should have dictated that they don't even bring this at all, because if you are a leader in the party, as in whether a national leader, as in the national executive of the party, or whether you hold a position of influence in the party, home sense tells me that you should know that you ought not take sides.
To do that.
You understand? You ought not. Okay. But for we the ordinary people of the party, like I keep on saying, that I believe firmly that one of the functions of any political party at all is to create a platform where ideas will be shared. You see, because political party essentially is a conglomerate of people who share similar ideas, and within every political parties you have people who let's say are extreme, who are in the middle, who are you understand, and because it's ideas and ideas evolve, you should create a platform where people will keep on debating and sharing ideas so that you evolve with the dynamics of the time. And so it is very critical for a political party to guard the provision of that platform for those debates to be had. And essential to those debates include who leads. Who leads. It's so critical that any rule that seeks to more or less take that platform away attacks the very soul of what a party.
Now here's what both of you haven't answered my question. And my question to you is, does the NPP have perhaps a law, rules, conventions that state clearly conduct leading up to internal elections?
In fact, this is a rule.
This communicated I have in my hand. Okay.
This is a rule, and also, so this is a rule.
So prior to this communique, why don't you put it within your constitution? Why don't you have it?
So you see,
stated in black and white within your constitution.
So if I'm to be overly technical,
right.
so you take jurisdictions like the UK, like in Israel, where they don't have a written constitution, but their practices, their principles, conventions constitutes their constitution, and they have the integrity to respect those principles and rules. You understand? Because laws cannot just be what is in black and white. You see, what is law, what constitutes law, goes beyond what is merely written. So understand where you are coming from. But the fact that the party thinks they must do this, the fact that people are questioning like people like myself think that this, in fact, the very principle that pinning this code of conduct even fights against the overall principle that governs our party and even the state as a whole. You understand? The fact that we are questioning it, for me, is a problem. It means that we do not believe or trust in the integrity of certain elements or people in leadership now to steer or to guard or to act as the custodians of our values, of our principles, of our ideals. We do not trust in them. You understand? It's so essential that as a leader, your people believe in your integrity to guard what they believe in. Because the reason why we are in the party is because we believe we have certain beliefs, we have certain values, we have certain ideals, and they are the core of why we are NPP.
Right.
And that's why they say we are, let's say, a UP tradition. Right. It's a tradition because there are certain things that defines us. As people who are in NDC, and as I'm not going to say anything negative, they also have certain beliefs. Right. You understand? Because we all can't see things
the same
way. You understand? They also have certain beliefs, and which person I don't have any issue at all with how they see things. Is because we are all not the same.
Right.
But immediately, there are certain things, there are certain values, there are certain ideals that makes them NDC. If you take our constitution, when I mean Ghana, our constitution lays down certain principles which we believe our constitution should embody. And all I'm saying is, this code of conduct, the main for the thing that they must have a code of conduct, and this is the first time it has ever happened. Well, I don't know. This is the first time I've heard that proud to a certain, and if within this code of, there are so many inconsistencies. One, so you say we can't campaign for presidential, parliamentary, and yet you say where is an orphan seat, that one they can campaign. If it's based on principle, I believe that it will cause campaigning or sharing your view will cause acrimony. Why was there no what's called a ban on campaigning for the national executives before the nominations were opened? You understand? And so even within it, in terms of principle, there are a lot of inconsistencies. You understand? And that's where I tend to side with my brother when it says that the purpose of the code of conduct was not because people care about any unity in the party. Because if you care about the party, then what you should be communicating is that as executives, we are going to create a free and fair election. Because see, once elections are free and fair, once people don't believe that the elections has been rigged, and once people believe that the elections represent the ultimate will of the people, then what justification would they have to fight about the election? And so if you are the executive, what the kind of message, and I think our current general secretary is doing a good job at that, is to emphasize, you understand, deliberately emphasize the fact that under your watch you are going to run an election which first of all reflects our rules as per our constitution, and are going to deliver a free and fair election, and that you are going to create a system where the will of the people, once you do that, then that one, we believe that no, these people are serious about their jobs as custodians of our values. But when you do this code of conduct, which clearly fights against even the preamble, within the same code of conduct, there are even inconsistencies. Then why won't people doubt you?
Right. Eloquently espoused. Right.
In all fairness, I per se do not have any problem with the code of conduct.
Right.
Reason being that even with our national elections, every 4 years, there's a CI that is placed before Parliament, guiding against that particular year's or that particular, let's say that particular year's elections. But for the inconsistency and the kind of content skewed towards one particular favor,
there would have been no problem. Now let me ask you my direct question. I'm looking at Article 18 of the NPP's constitution, and it says rules and regulations to this constitution. It says there may be separate rules and regulations of the party to supplement the provisions of this constitution. The rules and regulations may provide the guidelines for the operations of the party at all levels. So actually, embedded in your constitution is, choosing my words very carefully, literally arbitrary power, isn't it? The constitution actually gives arbitrary powers for new rules and new regulations, perhaps dependent on the times, to supplement what the party's constitution says. Recipe for disaster?
Because that's what I'm saying. You see, when you look at the constitution, limitation of powers.
Right.
You understand? And so all those principles, as in the plenty principles about judicial review, separation of powers, the focus is to limit powers or to reduce to the barest minimum the use of discretionary powers. And so you see that even in a constitution, as in the constitution recognizes the fact that under certain circumstances, especially in your discharge of your administrative duties, you may use certain discretionary powers. I'm talking about the national, not the NPP constitution. And even in those circumstances, they say that you should not use those powers capriciously, arbitrary, because immediately
that's Article 23.
Immediately you create a system where people wield serious arbitrary powers. Then it becomes a matter of luck. Now, if you are lucky and you have people who are principled, then at least. But if you have people who do not care and will do anything to achieve a certain agenda, and indeed, circumstances after. So right after this code of conduct, we've had a situation where the chairman of the Northern Region, Samba.
Oh, hold on. Because we have the videos. Okay. No rush.
Okay.
You know. And I will start with Nana Bediako on those ones. I want us to because I wanted us to do this house cleaning first to understand what the party's position, is. Then we'll look at specific behavior and sort of have an understanding of if those behaviors go contrary to what the party's position, the party's constitution is. So I'm happy for this conversation we've had. But now, let's get into the specifics.
Okay.
Let the videos roll.
Dr. Barumia Manamuye Denio. Dr. Barumia Manamuye Denio. Alaji Barumia Manamuye Denio. Future President Manamuye Denio. Dr. Papabi Manamuye Denio.
Next time it should be a Muslim president and a Christian vice president. I welcome each one of you for this great celebration. Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, so the video that we just watched, I understand, is a video of Dr. Ayiwe Free, cutting sword for a developmental project somewhere within his constituency. But that's very interesting. That didn't look to me like a sword cutting. You know, I actually like the song.
Oh yeah. You saw the vice president dancing,
right?
Yes.
Right, absolutely. So let's talk about this in relation to what your constitution says, in relation to what your code of conduct says. This one.
Like I said or I indicated previously, as in when you read section 1F of the code of conduct, section 1F of the code of conduct, it is stated in there clearly. You saw what the vice president was doing, Dr. Ayiwe Friye. I even saw the minister for, I think the Ashanti regional minister, dancing to that tune. What are we doing? You see, yes, the vice president. And you see, there can never be peace without justice. Absolutely. All of us are coming from a particular angle. We are from the same fraternity where rules are made for a certain breed of people. I would say second-class NPP citizens as against the first class. You get it? Now, am I right in also saying that during the formation of the UP, which brought in the NPP, a certain man who seeks to leave his NPP's father there, we wanted a single vote. The so-called Dumbo, they are making noise about Dumbo and that kind of thing. That man's father sold his vote to one. And UP or NPP tradition now went in as the minority. And that same person seeks to lead NPP as a political party. Somebody was introduced to the party in 2008. And now, you see, everything points out to the fact that people want what? Continuity. Where the continuity is about people in government. The most frustrating thing is about this man, what's his name, Kofi, something, the one who now heads NEIP. Go on his Facebook wall. Check those things that gentleman has written on his Facebook wall against his Honorable Alan Kojo-Chemantin.
And he's an official.
He's an official. He's a government appointee. All those you saw in the video, Minister for Ashanti Regional Minister, Dr. Ayiwe Friye, the Vice President, His Excellency, Dr. Alhaji Mahamudu Bawumia, future President, Ube, or whatever. At every point in time, we have only one president. We don't have a future president.
Right. So definitely goes against this communique. I want us to watch. We have lots of videos.
You see, the whole thing is this.
Right.
This thing is written black and white. You don't even need a first-year law student.
Right.
At, let's say, I would not even say the Ghana School of Law.
Right.
At the faculty level, LLB. You don't even need the person to interpret that particular provision.
I dare say you don't even need a university degree to interpret this. This is pretty. It's pretty clear. It's pretty clear.
So I have my personal views about the code, but that's not a standard. It is the law now.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
And the party executives, and then especially the president of the land, the vice president, who are de facto leaders of the party, must be the people who must protect this, the sanctity of this. Now let's read the clause 3. It says that for the avoidance of doubt, prospective presidential or parliamentary candidates shall be held responsible for the actions and inactions of any person or group of persons identified as supporters of a particular candidate which are in flagrant breach of this code of conduct if the prospective candidate is seen explicitly or implicitly lending support or condoning and not publicly denouncing the activities of any such person or group of persons. And so in that video,
not only are they not publicly denouncing, they actually partaking in the activity.
So that it's not implicitly, it's clear, explicitly.
Right.
Well, he was dancing, the vice president was dancing.
The song is nice, you have to say.
But you are dancing. You are dancing, you are happily breaching the law.
Right.
You are proudly breaching the law. You are proudly breaking the integrity of the rules.
Right.
That's what you are doing.
Right.
Yes,
okay. We have other corporate spots on camera. I want us to roll all the videos.
It's 3. Is that the third clause? What have they done?
Okay. What have they done? Next video, please.
We have to talk to them. The trade man until I do so have. It's Alan's turn. 2007, everybody was saying, no. You know, 2007, former President Boko was totally behind Alan Chamati. And then Supreme government appointees online. But party says, no, it's Akufado's turn. You remove it. So why the time? Are you getting it? So it's Alan Chamati's turn. And we are supporting him. Everybody knows I've declared my support for Alan long ago, and nobody can coerce me to be same by decision. Are you getting it? That's me. So everywhere I hear Alan a group doing anything, I'll go.
So now, please, are you ready? Sir.
Knowing that you hear someone is winning, someone is winning, it's all fanfare. During the national elections, who knew John Boyd was going to lose? The fanfare was up. Are you getting it? At the town, they were from JFK. I post JFK every day, not less than 10 pictures of my statement. And the type of calls that I get and all that gave me the assurance that I was going to win. So I was strong from day one that I was going to win to the last day. This is a marvelous house. We respect him. I cannot campaign for him to win and then disregard his intentions. I did not organize. Supposing I organized it, I would have stopped. International chief is coming together to organize this. Do you think it's easy? Some of them and others, I said, no, I told my general secretary that no.
Welcome back. So that was Mr. Hobson Adoye, and he was endorsing Alan Chairman saying Adedru will still walk in Kumasi. Actually, this video is better than the one I saw. There's one of him actually on the platform, you know, and I think that we should come back and have the conversation around what he said. I found a lot of the things he said very problematic, you know, not just this issue about endorsing, which is our conversation today, but also just this concept of the NPP then being exactly almost tribalistic, not being a little inward looking, not being, you know, open. But that's another conversation for another day.
No,
right?
I would have loved to discuss that thing, if you don't mind.
I don't mind at all.
Okay,
so the first video we watched, the vice president was being supported. That's His Excellency Baumia. He was present. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
He was present. In this one, Alan Chairman TV, and this also goes against the conduct.
Would you want to take it?
Okay, so let me quick one. So you know, in my initial submission, my very first submission, I said any rule that seeks to prevent party members, ordinary party members, from expressing their views is a problem. Right. It flies against the very soul, the principle that it is of a party. Now, then the question is, so in this video, you have Hobson sharing his opinion, really, because that's what he's doing. That in his opinion, he thinks Alan Chairman is the best to lead. Then the next question then becomes, does Hobson hold any position in the party? No. Does he hold any position in government? So far as I'm concerned, no. You understand? And so because Hobson is a common floor member like myself, he may be popular, but he's a common floor member like an unknown Appiah-Danquah. You understand? And so if I'm here, and in fact, the first thing I said here was to declare my opinion as to why I think Alan Chairman is best to lead. You understand? And I will fight. I'm ready to fight and hold on to my right as a citizen of Ghana, as a member of the NPP, to express my opinion on who I think is best to lead. And I think it is even in the interest of the party that they encourage us to be sharing our opinions. If I were a leader of the party, a leader in whatever capacity, like Hobson is not, like let's say John Boydu, like Chemawun to me, then common sense would dictate to me that no.
But you see, isn't that a problematic stance? I appreciate that. You mean that to whom much is given, much is expected. So because you're a party official, because you're a party executive, you have a higher responsibility on your utterances, because obviously it would have, you know, steeper consequences for the party. However, Hobson Adoye You cannot tell me sitting here that his opinion means nothing.
No, but my opinion doesn't mean nothing either. There are people who listen to my nobody's opinions means nothing.
However, if you do that, do you not see the possibility of then using people like you, because you're not an official of the party, to do the same thing that this code of conduct seeks to prevent?
And that's why I said I have a problem, first of all, with the code of conduct. So my issue, I don't have a serious problem with the code of with the code of conduct. Beyond it being inconsistent itself, it's so inconsistent. But what the code of conduct will do will be to breach the principle the principles. One of the key wasn't the preamble. We said there are principles why we are forming the party. It breaches one of them. My right to my freedom of conscience. Yeah. The only reason I have an issue with party leaders declaring is, you see, like I know nobody is neutral, so all of them, I know the president has his preference, and there should be no problem with the president having.
We all know the
president. All of them have, and it's cool. I'm entitled to my opinion. They're also entitled to their opinion. Absolutely. But they are the one going to conduct a certain election. Right. They are the executives. They are the one going to, in terms of when the elections will be held, in terms of everything that will be held, is the national executives who are going to organize or decide. And so because they're the ones going to decide or organize the election, they cannot be seen. So it's not so, for me, the duty on them is not just even to declare, but there must not even be any perception. If there's a perception as to where they stand, there is a problem.
That's problematic.
Yeah. So they must conduct themselves such that nobody can have a perception as to who they would rather wants to be president. It's so critical. Right. And that is different from a mere member. Also saying de facto the jury, he does not hold any office. And so should the fact that he is popular, should the fact that Hobson is popular prevent him from enjoying the same right I enjoy?
Too much given, much is expected. Now let's address the specific things that he speaks about. So that we can make progress. Let's address the specific things that he speaks about. He says that, it looks like there's a
certain Danquah,
a trilogy, correct me, of leadership within the NPP.
I thought you said we shouldn't go to that area.
Oh, you said you wanted to.
Yeah, I'll speak to it, but there's something I want to see before coming to that, if you don't
I thought he had done a good job.
Oh, no,
it's
again.
Okay, please go ahead.
Beauty,
go ahead.
You see, Amma,
go ahead.
Let me say this thing.
Right.
For most Ghanaians who do not know the rationale or the reason behind the Edrunoso work, I'll say it here and now. We are from the same political party.
But it was a purely political. It was not a held work.
It was a purely political. It was an endorsement for Endorsement. I'm coming. But Allah never knew that was what we were going to do. I'm telling you on authority. He never knew. You know why we did that?
Why?
We all come from the same political party. We did that before even the president do it. We did that after the vice president going to dance, throwing his hands in the skies up there, dancing to future president or something. Don't worry. So what we did was that we have leaders in this party that been a communique last year guiding against such things. They sat down there, did nothing. So are we to say that we are going for a race? What has been given some form of start against the other person? Memo, you understand it?
So we are not killing souls. You wanted to even out the wrongs. So
that is, it wasn't about evening out the wrongs. We wanted them. You see, there's this maximum of equity which goes this way. If you want to, if you call for equity, there's a need for you to come with clean hands.
He who comes to equity must
come with clean hands. You understand? You are leaders. If we had not done what we did during the Edrunoso work, I bet you there would have been future president you. You understand it? This is you. Could have been you. And we have a sitting president. We will not sit down there for things to happen this way. Now, what did Hobson say? When Hobson said that, where was Honorable Enchabate? Was he there? But this one, we have the Ashanti regional minister, we had a member of parliament, we had so many officials at the expense of the taxpayer. When I learned who has not declared, but some of us, his supporters, have declared for him. When he goes round, he uses what? His own what? Money or funding from other people. He doesn't use the state's money or doesn't take money from the state coffers. Why am I saying this? When the president, the vice president went, he went to cut salt. Was it not for a state activity or something or function? At the end of the day, he sank to his praise. Future president, no, obey you.
Right. Taking credit for.
Yeah, taking credit for. And the point is, it's so sad. You see, now I'm entering into the arena of the Danquah, Buzia, Dombo, this thing that we are saying. What did Hobson say?
It means that if I'm not Danquah, Buzia, if I'm not Danquah, if I'm not Buzia, if I'm not Dombo,
forget.
I have no way of ever.
You see,
even dreaming.
Let me even start.
So it's problematic for you. It should be problematic for you.
Let me even start with this Dombo thing that they are even saying in this party. NPP. Let us be factual here. We believe in factual, academic, and constructive argument. Right. That is me. We have never won in the 5 northern regions before.
Right.
We can go and check. So if there is anything to go by this position that is being held, that Dombo is from the northern region, then NPP, all the votes in northern region, we should even get embargoed, and then we will become.
But I thought the point was that Dombo always gives you a vice
I'm coming. No, you wait. I'm coming. Let me. Dombo's own grandson contested for MCE in Upper West. The party disqualified him. During the time Dombo was even alive, we wanted one vote, just a single vote, just as what we see in Parliament now. A father of a certain man who is a leader of this country said no. There's a name they call him. I wouldn't mention here. It's some kind of recipe they add to inquire, somewhere inquire. The person knows what I'm saying. Went in and gave his vote out. Same is now coming on and saying that me a Dombo, me a Dombo. Yes, it's a teaser. Don't worry. So I'm coming. You see,
trying to figure it out.
Let us be truthful in this country.
Right.
Whether we like it or not, from where I stand, Ghana, that is me, I'm not saying anyone. It's a secular state with, let's say, predominantly we have the Christians and the Muslims who take, let's say, majority of, in terms of percentage or something. Now, from inception, like NPP from 1993 to date, it has always been the norm. When I started earlier, I told that NPP believes in the principles of what? In the principles of the rule of law, particularly this aspect of this democratic governance.
It doesn't sound that way.
I'm coming. My lady, listen.
Said.
No. When Aliyu Mahama, His Excellency Aliyu Mahama of blessed memory, didn't he contest? Did the party stop him from contesting? He contested. So the kind of thing that people recently, I asked myself, have you not found a Dombo? During the days where Aliyu Mahama was there, we never had any Dombo, or we never had any Muslims. The
conversation is bigger than
yes,
that.
I'm coming. So I'm taking. Now we talk about Danquah. Danquah, let's say His Excellency the President Danquah Kufuor, he has his his lineage from that side. Buzia is from the Bono Ahafo region. So this aspect of telling people that President Kufuor his lineage is Buzia, it doesn't even hold water.
His lineage is not Buzia.
No! President Kufuor is an Ashanti man. I am an Achim from Achimoba.
What's your lineage?
My lineage is Bediako, Dannsa, Appiah lineage.
Then you don't have a stand.
I'm coming. My lady, senior, just give me a minute. I'll beg you. You see, with all this thing that is going on with Danquah, Buzia, Dombo, I would say it's just a cliche. You understand? You see, someone, you cannot eat your cake and have it all. You see how beautiful you look. How proud your husband always when he sees you on TV and that kind of thing. Amma, why?
Nothing. Please go on.
It tells you that you started from somewhere. He contributed towards your life to attaining this particular, let's say, status in society or something. Like coming to America, it says he went to sell his royal oath or something. You had sold one vote to someone. Now you are seeking to lead this party. You see, we tell people what they need to know. That is what I'm saying.
Let me attempt, because it's very critical.
It is a critical.
I see where you're coming from.
Exactly, because if I were an NPP person, I'll be very concerned.
No,
it means that I'm doomed to the role of a follower for the rest of my life.
No, it is.
My children, my children's children, we will never
it is very critical and
get close to presidency.
And what makes it even more important is that it is based on an untruth. The whole Danquah, Dombo Buzia, as in they believe that when you say Danquah, Dombo Buzia is like a gate system. You see, because essentially that's what it is. It's like
a monarchical
gate system. So if Danquah, and I think it's based on truth and it's so unprincipled, because then we say we are a democracy. You understand? And so if we are a democracy, we are a republic. You understand? So power really belongs to the people. Then any kind of conversation that gives an impression that people have the right to lead only because they belong to a certain gate flies against everything we believe in, and so that conversation is a very dangerous one. Now, so let me just give a simple background. You know, over the past, let's say from around 2018, a certain kind of conversation, in fact, was generated by Sir John, and it has been the main argument for those who think that, in their opinion, His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is the best person to lead. The argument simply says that Danquah has had a stand to lead, Buzia has had a stand to lead, so right now it's Dombo's 10. And it's a problem because, like you're saying, like you rightly said, it's very tribal. So then what it means is that, unless you are an Achim person, unless you are, let's say, an Ashanti person, unless you come from the north, then you cannot lead. And it's so dangerous.
But it feeds into perception.
No, that's why
the average Ghanaian already has that perception of the NPP party. So to hear on the platform, that says, oh, okay.
So that's I'm giving you the background. So the background is those who support His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. One of their major arguments for why they think Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is best to lead is not because they think that because they believe in his vision. Yeah, you understand? It's not because they believe in what he's done when he was given opportunity to lead. No. Their main argument is that it is his time to lead because he represents a certain section of Ghanaians. And so when Hobson went on the stage, it was an opportunity to rebut that argument with now my position. I'm coming. My position on the matter is, see, the one, and that's one of the issues I had. In fact, I've gone on platforms and I've criticized the old executives for sitting down aloof and allowing that kind of conversation to go on. Because I was very young then, but I saw Professor Duwain's contest, and I'd never heard him say that vote for me because I'm a Danquah, or vote for me because I'm Buzia, I'm from wherever. He said vote for me because he thinks he has what it takes, amongst all those contestants, he's best to lead. I saw President Kufuor's campaign. He never said that vote for me because of where I'm from. I saw Nana-Addo himself. Nana-Addo said, "Well, you knew it. And look, I've served you the party for a very long time. I think that you should reward me, and then this is my vision." Honorable Alan Chamantin has contested since 2007. You understand? And his message has been, say what, just for the boys, cash for football. Never has anybody, not just in the NPP, anywhere in Ghana, campaigned just on the basis of where the person come from. And that is the kind of campaign that those who, His Excellency, I've never heard him himself say that, but at least former General Secretary advanced that argument, and that has been the argument of those who think that His Excellency Dr. Bambia must lead. And I think the old executives did the party in Ghana a great disservice by not coming out strongly to condemn that kind of action, because
you know, it's like somebody coming out to say what we all know. Didn't they just give voice to something that we all the party actually believes in?
No, the party doesn't believe in that.
The courage
because really NPP is has a tradition. That tradition is a UP tradition, and no party in Ghana represents a union of all the people of this country. Because you see, in the 50s was a very special period in this country. I think we should teach our history and teach it well. We should teach our history and teach it well, because Ghana, what is Ghana? It's a combination of so many different countries. Because even at the mid last century, we had Gold Coast, the borders of Gold Coast.
That's a conversation I wish we would have later.
Yeah. You know, so.
But you are saying essentially that this accession is not founded in reality.
No, because you see, because
so
I'll just end. So just to end, when we say, I just want to let people understand, when we say the Dankwa Dombo is not a gay system, really it is a union of people or stars who believe in certain principles, the principles of the freedom of conscience, principles of the property owning democracy, principles in free enterprise. No, there are certain principles very capital principles which they believed in, and when we say that tradition,
aspect where when we say being capitalist more than
see, when we say that, when we say I'm coming on. So when we say the Dankwa Dombo tradition, it is those principles. That's the values, the ideals, the belief system of our party. It's not about a gay system, and our party gives opportunity to all manner of people, irrespective of your tribe, of your religion, of your, insofar as you are a Ghanaian and you are in the NPP. Right. If you present yourself to the people, to the members of the party, and they think that, in their opinion, you are the person they want you to lead, you will lead. And so, for instance, Dr. Maame, he's going to present himself. No, if he wants to lead, nobody is going to prevent him from leading. Nobody has ever prevented anybody from contesting as a leader of the NPP, based solely on your
where they come from.
Where they come from, because and then we have a situation where what's it called, Afuku contested. Right. He won. So Ghanaians should understand this. Our party is a very nationalistic one. All those comments about, oh yeah, we say no, we don't choose, nobody says that you are the one going to, you are subjected to an election. Yeah. Then the people decide. Right. You understand? And
just to add to what my senior said, with respect to our party being nationalistic, have you asked yourself the reason behind NPP not, let's say, electing the deputies at the national level? Because after the national elections, the substantive position, after the substantive elections, as in the positions as in chairman, vice, or what have you, all those who are appointed as deputies, we take into consideration their various backgrounds, just in the way to get everybody on board. It's true.
I hear you.
Thank you.
I hear both of you, but I'm sorry. That was very bad PR for the NPP, and I think we should do more to dispel that kind of PR. I'll just move on.
No, in fact, no, just say facts. No, don't communicate. No, I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to give 10. Okay. So I think, and I'll send it to you. So right after this video, Alan John Kojo-Chamantin, being the unifier, the natural leader that he is, he issued a communique in which he more or less asked Hobson to apologize, and beyond apology to say that it is important that we find a way of making people understand that our party respects everybody's contribution. Right. If I even mention the I think a line in, he went to Addis Ababa, as in had his own level at Addis Ababa. There's something in the anthem that says that others have labored and we are taking the glory. We are taking the glory. And also, he did his sixth form in Achimota School, my school. Achimota School's motto is that all may be one. Achimota School is a school that believes in the unity of all, and Alan Chimantin believes in that. You understand? And he's a unifier, and in the last statement he said that I believe in unity.
Absolutely. Okay.
You understand? And that should be our thought going forward.
I appreciate that. Let's watch the rest of the videos, all of them together, and let's conclude nicely. In concluding, I want us to look at, first of all, deterrence. All of these breaches of the code of conduct, what are we doing as a party, to make sure that people fall in line? Like you said, regardless of whether we believe in what this code of conduct says or not. And I appreciate your sort of reservations around it. However, it is what it is. So all of these breaches that we've been watching, what's the way forward? That's one angle. We're also going to have a conversation around, the other people that have put themselves up. It's not just Baumia and Alan Chema. So the other people within the party have also come up. And then we'll look at this monetization based on time and even with time. Yeah. And then for me, the most important, issue of whether the elections would be free and fair. Let's watch these videos and conclude.
Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, Regional Minister, Constituency Chairman, PC, Regional Minister, MP, our ward Dannsa. The General Secretary, this one is to Dannsa. The Treasurer, this one is to Dannsa. And the other factor one, all this is Olympian, IOC, as I tell you know. Now we have to put some police station for. Okay, my boy. I say, you are a friend of mine. If you say, Ouna, Australia, Ouna, and they say, Baru to be Mrs. Sumakan said, Muma police said she fall, and the one let us follow by the Ouna and say, party, and I'm not here. NPP party, and the police that you form, and the Bediako, and the constitution, and the now, many are maybe two of our parties, the regional minister. If you go for the car, and then the same who am I? There's a police that's before, and the Bediako that's before, and the constituency, and the constituency, as I said, I'm going to come
I welcome each one of you for this great celebration. Assalamu alaikum.
Their own pockets. So we have to talk to them. The tradesman is at home. He's going to see to your needs. So they have the confidence. And you know, the team are doing so helpful. It's Alan's time. 2007, everybody was saying, no. You know, 2007, former President Bukwa was probably behind Alan Chamate. And then Queen government appointees online. But party says no. It's Akufo-Addo's time. You remove it. So why the time? Are you getting it? So it's Alan Chamate's time, and we are supporting him. Everybody knows I've declared my support for Alan long ago, and nobody can coerce me to the same by decision. Are you getting it? That's me. So everywhere I hear Alan a group we anything, I'll go.
So now, please, are you ready? Sir.
For the delegates, knowing that you hear someone is winning, someone is winning, it's all fun. During the national elections, who knew the vote was going to lose? The fanfare was up. Are you getting it? But the town, they were from JFK. I post JFK every day, not less than 10 pictures of my statement. And the type of calls that I get and all that gave me the assurance that I was going to win. So I was told from day one that I was going to win to the last. We respect him. I cannot campaign for him to win and then disregard his intentions. I did not organize. Supposing I organized it, international team from is coming together to organize this. Do you think it's easy? Some of them
Next time,
Director of Communications at the Presidency, Mr. Eugene Ahi, has done a very good job. Has done a very good job in lobbying persistently for this road to be constructed, just as he did for the Bodrasi-Kaswa Road. And I assure you that it will be completed before 2024. It is public knowledge that he has intentions of contesting on the ticket of the NPP in 2024. If he is successful in the NPP parliamentary primaries, and I'm confident that he will do an excellent job as Member of Parliament for you. And I appeal to all of you to support him if and when that time comes. You'll see for yourself what he's doing for Arutu Senya West. Indeed, as it is evident, as all of you can see, that when the NPP is in power, Arutu Senya West develops.
Welcome back. Now, I have to stay on the last video. It's the one that I find most shocking for a number of reasons. First of all, is the president himself flouting, the code of conduct, code of ethics. The president himself that's flouting it. But even more shocking for me is the fact that the parliamentary candidate for the party is standing right behind him, and he's endorsing someone else, right? So just human relations for me, I found that so shocking. And the NDC candidate, Madame Tete, who took the seat from the NPP, is standing right there and laughing at the awkwardness of that whole situation. Because there we have Mr. George Anda standing right behind the president, the person who just lost that seat, literally, getting slapped on the face by the president because he's supporting someone else, Eugene Ahin, against right with the goodness. Does it get any more awkward than that?
To say this, I was totally shocked when I saw that video. And George Anda is in his current state because of you, the president. Why am I saying this thing? This man had an accident during his official, I think his official duty or something, that made him got this accident or something like that. And now a certain angle
but
of having to...
Did he not know that he was behind him? I'm surprised. He knew that he was standing right there behind him.
You know what happens when the president is touring, or when the president gets to a place to cut a sword or to do whatever, or to commission, whoever did what, maybe the executives in that particular constituency or the region, are part of the president.
Unless the man doesn't want to contest again. Do you know if Mr. Jordan doesn't want to contest again?
That is where the president went wrong. The whole thing is this. Why would you do what you did? Assuming without admitting, say in 2007, if His Excellency President John Ajay Kufuor had endorsed any other person other than you, how would you have felt? When I was contesting for the National Youth Organizer in 2018, the top 4, from the president to, let's say, the 4th person, one of them, I wouldn't want to mention the name, called me. I wouldn't want to say his or her because you get to know the person, into his or her office and told me to, as in, step down. And I told the person that, you see, when I step down, I'm going to ask you this very question. Who do I step down for and declare for? He or she couldn't answer the question. And I told the person, Mama wants me to commit, so I won't commit. And I told the person that whether we like it or not, we shouldn't play the ostrich principle here. There are cracks in the party. And we are the young guys coming up. I'm just about 40 years. In the next few years or something, we could take up the leadership role in this country. Why would I have to step down for someone? You get it? So why would the president go on this tangent? He should put himself in someone's foot or something. That had it been him, how would he have felt? Ama, to say the least, I am shocked, surprised, and I believe that the NPP that in time past, His Excellency President John Ajay Kufuor left, is not the same thing we are seeing now. NPP is no more attractive. I'm telling you the gospel truth. And you see people in this NPP who have never worked before, be it as employees or employers to employ people, but for politics are controlling wealth and they think they are better off than you. You see, when I see them, I laugh and I tell them that at least work for even 1 month to earn a salary or establish a company to employ people. Get up. Tell your people, your father or mother or your kids, that may co-officer create you. Not all this politics, then you see yourself as in a demigod, total disrespect and disregard for the human life. And I tell them, they should watch out. The voice of God will speak. And the voice when God speaks, people will hear.
Right. Punishment. Punishment. Deterrent. What is the NPP doing about this? We've seen videos of Hobson Adoye flouting, code of conduct. We've seen the Idrusu walk, which the whole walk by itself flouts the code of ethics of the NPP. Chairman Wuntumi, bold face, chest out, flouting, Aziz Futa, flouting, and Appiah-Danquah, the president himself, flouting. Punishments, deterrents. Where are we going, NPP?
One of the biggest legal philosophy or jurisprudence arguments held in the last century was between Hart and Fuller, and the whole debate was on fidelity to law. Why people are faithful to law. So so as in the time is short, so So you see, when you make law, you should make law which, or when law is good. So I can talk about Saint Augustine, and said an unjust law is no law at all. And so we have an obligation. In fact, we have a duty to disobey
bad law,
an unjust law. Now, when you read our constitution, you use the word "we, the members of the party, take for ourselves this law." When you read our constitution, you say, "We, the people of Ghana," after having stated the principles, that we, the people of Ghana, we take this law upon ourselves. And so, where you have more than 500,000 people, like worked in Kumasi, sharing their opinion, then you should tell you, the executives, that if the law is unjust, then they won't obey it.
Then there should be no punishment. Then that's the end of the
please,
then there should be no punishment across board.
So I'm coming. Now, in fact, that's why I say I don't even believe in the law. So, but even so now let's assume that there was no law.
Right.
So let's assume let's assume that there was no law.
But there is law.
So let's assume there is no code of conduct. So when I said law, I meant the code of conduct. So let's assume the code of conduct was not there. The question is would I have thought that the president is wrong in doing what he did? Would I have thought that Chemasamba, I know you didn't play it, but he did it. Chemasamba was wrong in...
there's a whole list. It's because of time. People are busily flouting
would have thought that Chairman Wuntumi...
Right.
I'm coming. Would have thought that...
Right.
I'm coming. So would have thought that Chairman Wuntumi and all the party leaders, the party leadership, who have openly endorsed people, would have thought that they were wrong, even if there was no code of conduct? And I'll say that absolutely yes. Because you see, like I'm saying, beyond written law, there's principle. There's principle, and we write our constitution and says that. So no, the constitution has a policy, and the policy is a statement by Appiah-Danquah, the doyen of Ghana's politics, as they say. And Appiah-Danquah mentioned what? Justice, principles of what? Justice. What is justice? Or just treatment. So if I treat you this way, I must treat him this way.
The same way.
You understand? And so when that's our principle, when also our principle is freedom of conscience, and you do laws or you behave in ways that flouts these principles, then beyond the law, there will be punishment. You understand? And that punishment may not necessarily be your regular...
So let's read what the Code of Conduct says. It says here that a National Complaints Committee has been constituted to receive complaints of violations and breaches of this Code of Conduct through the General Secretary. The National Complaints Committee is made up of the following persons. So it says, who the people are. But then, just so I have it somewhere, right here, it says sanctions for breaches of the code. Sanctions shall be imposed on any member or supporter of the party who fails, neglects, or refuses to comply with the orders of this Code of Conduct. Possible sanctions include fines, suspension, expulsion from the party, disqualification from holding any office or position in the party for a stated period. I think it's very clear.
Yeah. So sincerely, do you think after what the custodian of all these laws, the president, there can't be a bigger custodian than
no,
the
there cannot be.
There cannot be a bigger custodian than the president. After what, and I won't talk about the rest. After what the president did, do you think anybody will have the temerity? In fact, to quote a senior national school, will have the cockroach audacity to attempt
the cockroach audacity. I like it.
Attempt to haul anybody and take steps to, in fact, to attempt to haul anybody before what's so called disciplinary committee. This code of conduct is dead. If you have a president, you understand, and you see, Ganesh will understand that we are the repository of raw power. Oh, it's not the president. We have just given him, and that's why I use the word custodian deliberately, and it's high time our politicians understand that they are only custodians of power. They are custodians of the resources of this nation. They are just custodians, and they will account. Yeah, you understand? And they must understand the fact they are just custodians. And so, and not just resources, but you're also custodians of the principle. Because when you are president, you take the oath to protect this constitution of our nation. You take that oath. And the constitution is beyond what is written in black and white.
Right. There's a spirit.
Also embedded in the constitution is the values of the people of Ghana.
Right.
You understand? And so it's important that our leaders, especially the president, or anybody who wants to be president for that matter, understand the deep responsibility of that position. You are not president for NPP. You are president for Ghana. You are not president for NDC. And so it is your number one obligation to protect with all your life the things that we value as Ghanaians. And very critical amongst that is justice, is probity, is accountability, and these are stated in our constitution. So when the president goes on such a big platform and gives no respect to these principles, we must talk, we must speak, we must not be afraid. We must speak. And what he's done, what the president has done, as in, he's blown the code of conduct.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wide open.
Yeah, he's blown it. He's just destroyed it.
It doesn't say
you understand. So I'll just implore or call on the executives that they must go back to our roots. They must encourage. We the common members to share our views, to share our opinions, without any fear. We must not be afraid. It's a democracy. Yes, now, if the truth is kebi mamin kebi, I may not agree with you. I don't have to agree with you, but I must respect your opinion, your right to have an opinion, even respect the integrity of that opinion, and vice versa. Yes, we must encourage, because without that, then we are joking as a democracy.
Right.
You understand? We are joking as a democracy. So I'll ask my executives to. Yes, I know they want to, as in.
Because we had, correct me, we had rumors that some of your people were being held before some disciplinary committee.
Have we had any punishment?
I haven't had any punishments, but we heard that some people were being held.
Yeah. Indeed, they wrote, and there again, that comes a justice issue. So we also saw the Vice President dancing happily, for being part of a campaign activity. In fact, nobody can convince me that he was not in the know that was going to happen. He was part of a campaign activity. Now, Honorable Alan John Kojo, like my brother rightly said, he didn't know about the Dannsa work. It was just ordinary party. For myself, I got to know about it about a week or two before time, and I decided to partake in it. The whole experience was I think it was historical, and I wanted to be part of history. You understand? Now, he wasn't part. He did not, and yet he's written a communique saying that we must recognize that the fact that diverse people have contributed, and we share in that glory. He said he highlighted the need for unity, and he asked one of his strongest supporters, one of his strongest supporters, that look, no, I cannot endorse this kind of statement or this kind of thinking. Yet the national executives wrote Honorable Anchamanti a letter. They were to the whole country. They wrote him a letter. What letter has His Excellency Dr. Maud Bawumia received after he originated the campaign in person? He was there. He was dancing happily, and so immediately you give the impression.
All the presidents.
We just saw the president. So immediately you give us the impression that you are unable to apply your own rules in a just manner. Then the very integrity of that rule has been compromised.
Absolutely.
You understand? And nobody, and so, you see, if they have the party at heart, if they have the country, or the leaders, because it's whether NPP and we are Ghanaians, they should behave in a way that will suggest to all of us that they have the ultimate interest of the country.
Right. We need to conclude this conversation. We don't have time to conclude, but we need to come back hopefully next week. Will that be okay by you? Fine, so that we can analyze the other contenders we have, because this is not just about me and Alan Chairman. We have Kennedy Japan, who I oppose strongly with my full chest. We have the Honorable Joe Gathe, We have Mr. Wuswefri Akoto. You know, we also have the Honorable Francis Adai, you know, and all of these people have also, one way or the other, declared their own intentions, you know. So I want us to have a conversation around them and their own conduct. And if their own conduct has also breached, you know, the code of conduct, I think it's important that for us, especially as outsiders who are viewing in, we have the full picture, you know. Also, this issue of monetization and how the code of conduct addresses this issue, because it's a very important, you know, conversation. At the end of the day, it goes to the very heart of whether you have a free and fair election, which brings us obviously to the big issue of a free and fair elections and whether rigging is a matter for consideration. So please ponder on this for a week. Hopefully next week Thursday we come in for week. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Pleasure. 10 hours, 1 minute, 1 minute, and we're out. Please don't use it for campaign. I don't want you to breach the code of conduct on my show.
I would say I am highly honored.
Right.
As in, to sit at your anyways, okay, let me say. You see, the whole thing is that we're all Ghanaians, and that let us all help to build this country. It's a beautiful country we have here. It's very, very, very beautiful. At least we have people like you, the world's finest. I call you the world's finest. You have an intellectual like lawyer Appiah-Danquah. You see, let's build the country, and I tell you, Ghana will survive.
Amen.
Wow. Anyway, I consider a privilege to be on this show, and I'll take this platform to urge all NPP members, all Ghanaians, that at this stage of our national development, let's put partisanship on the backbench, and let's come together as a people to solve our crisis. Because once we are in a crisis, we can't run away from that. And without a united front, without a common purpose, we will sink. So let's come together, let's try and find real solutions to our problems. So that's what I want to end.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lawyer Andrew Appiah-Danquah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nana Bediako, Dannsa Appiah. Oh God, my own friend. Thank you so much for this conversation. I'm looking forward to next week's conversation. Sure. Thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.